are coming back. Since we ruined their plan of taking over the Fortnite island, this would be the perfect time to attack because we are extremely vulnerable, especially after the Wasteland warriors attacked the island. But the Lost Reality used to attack the island all the time, like Kevin the Cube attack, the alien abductions, the Cube Queen, Herald. Why has the attack stopped? This is one of the unsolved mysteries of Fortnite. And another Fortnite mystery that has not been unsolved is when the Fire King attacked the island and released an evil monster. I'm giving away a free skin to a lucky subscriber. All you have to do is subscribe, and if you want to help me out, use code SMJM and like this video. On December 6, 2018, a brand new location was added to the game called Polar Peak. There was a huge castle ruled by this powerful character called the Ice King, and in the dungeon we find another mysterious prisoner. This was the Fire King. One day, just out of the blue, the Fire King escapes, and the Ice King, to capture the Fire King, summons an eternal winter because he knows that the Fire King's biggest weakness is ice. And to fight the cold, the Fire King summons a giant volcano. As a revenge, the Fire King erupts the volcano, and after destroying a bunch of locations like Tilted and Retail, he smashes the base of the Polar Peak with a giant molten rock, releasing an evil monster. To fight the monster, the Imagine Order and Singularity builds a giant robot, and there is a huge battle. The robot defeats the monster, and after this we hear nothing about the Fire King or the Ice King. Even until this day, we don't know if the Fire King has been captured. During this battle, the robot uses the power of the 0 point. This is the 0 point mystery. We don't know the whereabouts of it. Very first time we saw the 0 point in chapter 1, when we go inside of this bunker, we see this glowing orb in this mysterious world. Also the same chapter when Kevin the Cube attacks, we are teleported to the same world known as the In-Between. If you don't know, the 0 point is connected to multiple realities, and if you go to the In-Between, you can see all these vines. These are all connected to different realities. In fact, in chapter 2 season 5, you could see these vines open up portals into different worlds. In season 1, in chapter 1 season X, the 7 tried to destroy the 0 point. They managed to create a giant black hole, which took us to chapter 2. Lactus exposes the 0 point. People use it to travel to different realities and escape the island. Despite Agent Joan getting multiple hunters to guard the 0 point, the 0 point gets destabilized. But before it exploded, the Foundation saves the day by sealing the 0 point inside of the spire. The Lost Reality shows up on the island. The Imagine Order hides the 0 point inside of this place called the Bridge. Herald uses the power of the 0 point to fuel the reality tree, and she destroys the island. 0 point saves us again by reconstructing the chapter 4 map, and the very last time we see the 0 point was in chapter 4 season 3, the Rumble Ruins. But ever since that, the 0 point has gone completely missing, and so are the 7. The mystery of the disappearance of the 7 is still unsolved. It all started back in chapter 1 when a meteoroid crash landed on the island, and we quickly find out that this meteoroid is not a natural occurrence. This was in fact a spaceship. A visitor was inside of the meteoroid. He escapes, sets up a base near Snobby Shore, and creates a giant rocket. He uses the rocket, leaving rifts around the island, preparing for the arrival of the rest of the 7 members. And in season X, we see a bunch of rockets driven by the rest of the 7 members. They try to crash the meteoroid on the 0 point and destroy it, ending a loop just trapped people living on this island for thousands of years. But unfortunately, it backfires and creates a giant black hole. We don't hear anything about them until John Jones summons the Foundation on the island. The Foundation and 7 helps the island not once but twice, fixing the 0 point and also flipping the island, saving us all from the lost reality. We end up in chapter 3, Island ruled by the 7. There's a huge foundation statue, and just when we think we have peace, the Imagine Order shows up on the map. There is a huge battle between the two factions, 7 and the Imagine Order. The IO creates a giant doomsday device. They want to destroy everyone living on this island, but the 7 and the Foundation have recreated the mech and they all attack the base, not only destroying the doomsday device, but also eliminating Dr. Sloan. And while they were all distracted, this creature called Harold takes over the island, turns everything into chrome, and abducts almost every single members of the 7. In chapter 4, this AI called Amy tells us that the 7 are still alive, but they're all different and are going through the darkest fate imaginable. She says she's going to save them all, and that was almost 2 years ago. I've not seen or heard anything about the 7, and that mystery is still unsolved to this day. Harold, who kidnapped the 7, is another mystery that has been unsolved to this day. That is because this part of the reality tree. The very first time we saw Harold was in the trailer of the Vibin season. After the Imagine Order was defeated, everyone was celebrating, and then we see this mysterious creature spying on all of us. Also, throughout the Vibin season, we start to see this mysterious roots appear on different locations, and then we find out these roots were attached to the reality tree. And in chapter 3, season 4, same tree was spotted on the map, and there was a hole behind the tree, meaning Harold escaped and was on the chapter 4 map. And we all thought she was going to show up at some point during chapter 4, but no sign of Harold being back. But we can't say that about Galactus, because there is a chance he might return back to Fortnite. If you guys don't know the mystery of Galactus, in chapter 2, just after the Big Bang, created by the 0 point, Galactus, who feeds on energy by eating planets, senses the power of the 0 point. He could not resist and wanted to eat it, so he flew right towards the reality 0, which is the Fortnite island. And when chapter 2 season 4 was here, Galactus finally arrived. He was just about to eat the 0 point when the Avengers flew a bunch of battle buses filled with bombs right into his mouth, and it exploded and rifted him away. That's right, he does not get eliminated, he is rifted away, meaning that he is still out there and most likely will return back to Fortnite, possibly to get his revenge. And since next season is going to be a Marvel themed season, there's a chance he will return as well. We know that the Imagine Order was completely destroyed by the 7, but there is still this mystery that's revolved around one of the biggest member of the Imagine Order, Dr. Sloan, has not been unsolved. We saw the return of Sloan in chapter 4. We find out that she was stuck inside of this rainforest jungle. Despite being our enemy for thousands of years, she suddenly decides to help us. She helps Agent Jones and sends him back to chapter 1. But just before the Big Bang event, Dr. Sloan tells Agent Jones and us that we will meet again. We all thought she would be here on the chapter 5 map, but we are in season 3 and still no sign of Dr. Sloan. There's a chance she might be here next season because you can find this graffiti of Dr. Sloan. Now, why would Fortnite just randomly put this in? Now, the biggest unsolved mystery in the history of Fortnite is the Lost Reality. We know that the Lost Reality has always been around ever since chapter 1. They have attacked attacked and tried to take over the 0 point. We know their first attack was Kevin the Cube, a random lightning bolt created this cube. That attack continued on to season 6. There was a chapter 2 when the Lost Reality sent the Cube Queen. He opens a portal and tries to let the rest of the Lost Reality in, but thanks to the 7, they flipped the island and they failed. They weren't eliminated. We know they were still there. We have not heard anything about them ever since chapter 3. I'll keep you guys updated if there's anything. Please leave a like, subscribe, and use code SMJM.